So once you have the buyer and the buyer's committed, then you go to the wholesaler and you're going to convert your flex option into a normal contract. Okay? And convert your flex option into a normal contract, and then you turn both of those contracts into a title company. And this is how I normally decide it, but it doesn't have to be this way. Okay? Normally, if it's $15,000 or more, I would double close it, because I don't care for the sellers to know how much I'm making, and I don't care for the buyer to know how much I'm making. If it's for less than $15,000, then I'll just assign it to them. Because normally, I mean, it's not a big deal that you make $15,000 on the deal. I mean, your buyer is in this business. He knows that you're in the business to make money. I have done as high as assigning, where I make like $30-something thousand. And the buyer's like, no big deal. I mean, I don't care what you make. I have a lot of equity. See, so from the buyer's perspective, it's all good. Right. It costs you more to do your double closing. Well, it's up to you. I mean, it's your risk tolerance level. If you feel that, let's say if I have a seller that I feel that if they know that even if I just make $5,000 on this deal, they're gonna try to either renegotiate my price or back out of the deal. If that's the case, then I'll double close even for $5,000, because the extra money, well, here in Texas, the extra money that I pay for the double closing is only about it's only about 1% more. And so it's 1% of the home, that is, not of the price. So it's not that bad. But so it really depends on how I feel toward that seller and toward that buyer. If I just totally don't want them to know how much I'm making, then I'll just double close it. But if I if I don't care, if I have a seller that I feel very comfortable with, and I have a buyer that I feel very comfortable with, then I'll just assign it. It's easier. I mean, most title companies will accept assignment. Okay, I'm going to talk about double closing and assignment tomorrow. Okay, so we'll talk about that tomorrow, or maybe it's today. Let me see. Let me see where I'm at. But we already passed 5, so let me go through this real quick. All right, so you decide, and then you submit all of the contracts to the title company, schedule for a closing date, and try to get the buyers to close as soon as possible. And then you can come to closing if you want, or you can just if in a double closing you have to sign the paperwork. In an assignment, once you assign that contract over, you're done. You don't need to sign anything else. Okay, you're out of that transaction. And when closing time comes around, the title company will send you your assignment fee. There are cases, depending on the buyers, they might be willing to pay you your assignment fee up front without waiting until closing. If you can get them to do that, that's great. There's a lot of risk for them to do that, because what if the seller decides to back out of the deal, right? Or what if something happened with the deal, the house burned down? Whatever, they would have to hunt after you for that money, and chances are you already spent your Christmas money by then. Just kidding. And so there's a lot of risk for buyers to do that, but there are buyers who will pay you upfront. The fastest I've ever bought a house, and the wholesaler got paid, everybody got paid, the seller got paid, the wholesaler got paid, was within 6 hours from the time that I see the house to the time that I fund it. It was really fast. Now, I didn't go through a title company because it was a subject to deal, and I was comfortable with my title search. I felt comfortable that this deal was good, and it has a lot of equity for me to take that kind of risk. There's always risk reward, right? And so so that wholesaler made $7,000 in 6 hours from the time that she showed me the house to the time I actually paid her. So it could happen very quickly, right? Now, how many of my kind of buyers you're going to find? Not a lot, but they do exist if the deal is there. If the deal is there. Just like who was it that was asking me earlier? She's like, yeah, I have these leads, and the seller might be willing to accept very low, but I don't know where I can find money, and be able to, because the builder wanted to close in 14 days. I go, well, if it's a builder, it's a brand new house, and I was just using an example, but let's say the house is worth $200,000. The builder says, I'll sell for $50,000 if you can close in 14 days. If that was the case, you can find a lender to lend on it very quickly. I have lenders that lend properties for me the day after I call them. Like I had a deal where my first lender backed out because he ran out of money, and so it's like last minute. So it's like, I call up another lender and says, I need a favor from you. I have this deal. It's scheduled to close tomorrow, and I really need to close it tomorrow. Can you fund this deal? And because we already built that relationship, and he said, okay, yeah, just tell the title company I'll be there at 10 a.m. with a cashier's check, and boom, it's done. Huh? On that particular deal, that was 12%. Yeah, it's private money is about relationship. No, that one didn't have it. It's rare that I have to pay points for private money. For hard money, yeah, but it's rare that I have to pay points for private money. 12% annual or 12% annual? So it's for private money, for me to pay 12 to 15% with no points is very normal. It's very typical. Okay, and it all has to do with the relationship that you have with your lender. And if it's a private money, and if it's a long-term deal, let's say I say, well, I'm going to keep this house a little bit longer. I even negotiate down to 10%. So it depends.